what if there's no good or bad about your higher self or your ego or your intuition or your inner voice, but they're all sort of a type of internal guidance. Let's say maybe your ego says, no, I don't want to do this. Oh my gosh, I'm just sabotaging myself. I'm judging myself for it. Oh my gosh. What if this voice is giving you a clue, telling you, hey, you don't want to do it, and you're judging yourself for maybe sabotaging yourself? But what if on a deeper level, there's a part of you that is scared? And who is that that's scared? Why is he or she scared? What are you scared of, and what do you need?
Hi, folks. Welcome back to Boom Vision and Happy New Year. I'm excited to share with you today's guest, Bridget Wang. Having served hundreds of clients in the past 12 years, Bridget shares with us how you can distinguish how your intuition, your soul's GPS and internal guidance is communicating with you. You'll definitely want to tune in. Let's cue the intro. Welcome to the Boom Vision Podcast. I am your host, Benjamin Ye. This show is about giving you the perspectives and framework on how to gain clarity and finding your true north. Are you yearning to discover your soul's purpose? Let's take this journey together because it's time for you to live an extraordinary life with vision that you design. Let's get to work. Your spark isn't your purpose. That last box fills in when you're ready to come live. And the thing is, you're pretty great at jazzing. That quote was by Joe Gardner in the Pixar movie, Soul. Hi folks, welcome to episode 12 of the Boom Vision Podcast. I'm excited to kick off 2022 with today's interview. We're going to hear from my good friend Bridget Wang and learn how she mastered how to listen to her own intuition, as well as how she serves her clients that feel emotionally stuck. If you recall in episode 8 when I interviewed Jonathan Liu, today's guest is Jonathan's wife. Bridget Wang is a soul freedom coach. She has helped hundreds of clients in the past 12 years to be free from their emotional and mental prison that created ongoing self-doubt, judgments, criticisms, and sabotaging patterns. She does this by helping her clients to be clearly in tune with themselves, trusting and allowing their internal divine guiding system to co-create with her clients the lives that most align with their truth, bliss, and highest calling. Bridget is a strong believer that we all are the infinite powerful creator of our lives, and that each individual on this earth can mold and create their reality that's most truthful and aligned with their highest bliss. Bridget absolutely loves to see as many beautiful souls as she possibly can to use this life experience as a powerful canvas to start creating the lives people want in the most joyful, authentic, empowering way. One of Bridget's favorite things to do is to listen to soothing jazz music with a cup of coffee and daydream about life. Bridget also likes to practice art, drawing, and painting, and spend quality time with her beautiful 2-year-old daughter, Nyla, and her husband, Jonathan Liu. So without further ado, here's Bridget Wang. Bridget, welcome to the Boom Vision Podcast. I really appreciate you joining us in today's show.
Thank you for inviting me. I am super excited to be here. Really, really excited.
Awesome. Bridget, so I guess just starting off for our show, I'd love for you to kind of share, what's Bridget's origin story?
So to start off, I would say I actually came from a very, very dysfunctional family where my dad was physically, verbally, mentally very abusive towards me and my mom. And I was actually also sexually molested by my own uncle at a very, very young age. And I grew up in a family where kind of the belief system was if something bad happens to you, you probably had done something bad in the past life in order to deserve this. So if you're experiencing this, basically suck it up. And as a kid growing up, I had always had that victim mentality of life happens to me. There's nothing I can do about it. So maybe that's just how life is supposed to be. And it was a sucky feeling. But back then as a kid, I always had this feeling deep within myself, feeling like, no, I feel like I'm supposed to be special, but I don't hear that a lot. That was kind of just a feeling. And then, how Asian people will always say, hey, you got to be humble. So you kind of put those feelings and those voices aside. And you kind of just go through life until 2009. I was exposed and introduced to this kind of my beginning of my spiritual journey. It was called theta healing. And it really opened my eyes to so many different perspectives about life. And although in the beginning, when I first got into theta healing, it was more coming from an intention of like, oh my gosh, I heard you can talk to angels, you can see, beings from the other side. Like, I want to be a psychic, let's do it. But there's so much more than that. It's after I got into it, and theta healing was just the beginning of it. It was a journey of discovering who I am, what I'm capable of, that I am freaking in charge of my life. No one has ever told me anything about that until I started my spiritual journey or personal development journey. I realized, wow, you're telling me now that I can change my life, like with my mind? No, really, I had no idea. And that really opened the gate up for me to want to explore more of, what do I not know yet? What else is there? What does it mean to love myself? What does it mean to change my life? What does it mean to be the creator and the master of my own life? So that was kind of the gist of my story.
Wow. And through your journey, I mean, well, first of all, I did not know what you had to go through from childhood till now. And it just sounds and it feels like through that experience, you almost saw this spiritual journey that you embarked on as sort of a refuge. And really not just processing what has happened, but also knowing that you are in the driver's seat in terms of how you respond to it and what you want to do with it and where you want to go with it. Since 2009 and up until now, what would you say is one of your superpowers that you've gained?
I would say, if the superpower is with myself, is the honesty. It's weird to say, but my superpower with myself is that I am so honest with my own shadow side, that I allow myself to process through it, love myself through it, understand myself through it. And because I'm able to do that with myself, that it helps me to do that with other people, that I'm able to see through, see beyond the circumstances, see beyond the surface, see beyond the judgment, and help guide people deep into their soul to see and understand the parts of them that needs the most love, acceptance, understanding, and support, and bring those love and light into those parts of themselves that they didn't even know they needed it. So I believe that's my superpower, is honesty and see beyond the surface level and
Hmm.
bring love and support and
Yeah.
acceptance.
Yeah. And when you say shadow side, just to kind of explain that definition to my audience, can you elaborate a little bit about what you mean by shadow side?
Yes. So to me, my understanding of shadow side, when people hear the words ego, shadow, my observation of it is a lot of people want to run away from it, or like, oh, this is not good. This is bad. I need to get rid of my ego. Like, I don't want to listen to my ego. I should listen to my intuition or my higher self. But as I continue the process of working through my own shadow, through my own crap, I'm realizing more and more and more, shadow is just the part of us that we haven't shined light on,
Hmm.
that is just needing our attention and understanding more. Ego, for me, my understanding, a lot of people go, no, my ego tells me this, and we get this frustration of, why is my ego speaking louder than my intuition or my higher self? But I'm starting to feel like, what if your ego, I'm asking question, and I invite everybody who's listening to this to start asking different questions. What if there's no good or bad about your higher self or your ego or your intuition or your inner voice, but they're all sort of a type of internal guidance? Let's say maybe your ego says, no, I don't want to do this. Oh my gosh, I'm just sabotaging myself. I'm judging myself for it. Oh my gosh. What if this voice is giving you a clue, telling you, hey, you don't want to do it, and you're judging yourself for maybe sabotaging yourself? But what if on a deeper level, there's a part of you that is scared? And who is that that's scared? Why is he or she scared? What are you scared of, and what do you need? And this is my understanding of what I mean by I'm being really honest with my shadow, is when those parts of me, those judgments within me that come up, those anger, fear, sadness, and resentment that come through me. Yes, I definitely feel through all those emotions. It's not always easy, but I always sit down with it and understand, hey, my anger, hey, my resentment, what's going on? What are you angry about? What are you resentful about? What are you scared of that I didn't spend time to understand you deeper? I would love to get to know you more. And I feel like that's the part that people probably neglect to see, how ego can serve us in a complete different way, if that makes sense.
It totally does. I'm getting all the tingly feeling right now. That's my intuition telling me like we're on the right path here because the imagery I get, Bridget, is, and I loved your approach because I always see this, I see this visualization of being around a campfire and having like a intimate conversation with your fear, your anger, and you're just having like a campfire conversation with them. And it's like, what's on top of your mind, right? Because I think there's the inner voice, there's our SOS, there's old programming we haven't upgraded yet. And part of that is things we downloaded as a child, not necessarily ours, but if that voice isn't heard, if your approach is to purely mute it, then over time, kind of what Jonathan said before, right? Your husband about,
Yes.
so our emotions are sometimes like just like a little child. If they're not heard, or if you purposely just quiet it, then it'll come out sooner or later in other different forms. But your approach, what I love about it is when you're able to just sit around a campfire, just talk to it, and just like, what's on your mind? Why do you feel that way? If you try to understand it, then once this expresses itself and it feels like it's being heard, then that's when healing really starts, right?
Yes, yes. And it's not, I don't think it's just the healing. It's almost like before the wound even starts, it's like, oh, I don't need to be wounded anymore because now you hear me. That anger doesn't need to stay here anymore because you
Yeah.
process through it right there. But all these anger or the wounds that we have and still needs to be healed are the wounds from a long time ago. There's layers and layers and layers of it that we never dealt with, and no one's ever taught us. Like whenever we get angry, whenever we get sad, people, the immediate action is like, oh, it's okay, it's okay, everything's gonna be fine. Hey, don't be sad. Hey, it's okay, don't cry. Well, what are you angry about? Like seriously, like, oh my gosh, like no one's ever there to support you and go, hey, it's okay. You want to be angry? That's fine. I'm here with you. You want to be sad? That's okay. I'm right here with you. And let our children process through it. It's almost like when our children cry, we're supposed to do something about it, like
Yeah.
immediately.
Mm.
But what if the anger just needs a space to like be, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm done. That's all I needed. Thanks. And it doesn't need to keep knocking on your door to get your attention anymore.
Mm. Switching gears a little bit, Bridget, you mentioned about your superpower is honesty. And one of the things that I'm getting to know you and Jonathan is you just have this amazing power of that intuitive healing that you help your clients with, right? And so I guess my question for you is, what drew you towards this path of just intuitive healing? Was it something that pulled you towards this calling, or do you feel that the life circumstances you experienced from a childhood push you towards this path?
That's a very good question. I love to see myself as a passionate student of life, of the universe, about just our mind, how people think. And a lot of time when I, watch other people's interviews, I listen to other people's stories, and I would find a commonality, including myself, is whatever we're meant to do, life will always give you the experiences kind of geared towards you that direction, and to kind of fulfill your life mission, or you go through your highest calling. And ever since I was little, thinking back now, I was always loving to preach to people, how to be a vegetarian, how to, as a kid. And it's almost like I just want to change the world as a kid. But I didn't think too much about that, because there's always that, unworthy feeling of like, who am I? But, that's just what I wanted to talk about. But as I start to grow up, I didn't think too much about that anymore. I thought I was going to be a graphic designer, just live a normal life like a normal human being, even though there's always a knowing within me that I'm here to do something. I don't know what. And so things happen, life happens. I was actually had the opportunity to get exposed or introduced to theta healing. That was the beginning of my spiritual journey. And that's what opened everything up. And what really got me into it, I think, is just my passion. I don't know if audience, watched this movie called The Soul from Disney movie.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and I don't want to give the spoiler, but I'm going to just mention it something in there because I absolutely love that. I had always thought life was all about finding your purpose or fulfilling your purpose, until I learned from the movie. It's like, oh no, it's just whatever brings you joy. And it's like, I think this is my joy. Whenever I do this, I just feel so joyful. And I think the number one thing that I got out of this whole journey and experience up to this point of my life is knowing that I have the tool to literally change my life at any time I want. Whenever circumstances that comes up and trigger me to the point where I like, oh, I just want to pull my hair out, I have the tool to walk myself through it, love myself through it, and process through it. And that is the beauty of it. And by the end of it, instead of being so angry about the circumstances that trigger me so much, now I'm able to look at the same circumstance and go, oh my gosh, thank you for happening for me. It had to happen for me to have a deeper understanding of who I am and what I'm ready to let go of. If you didn't show up, I didn't know I was still holding on to this. So thank you. And because of that, I love to also see other people experience, if not the same, but similar thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was a documentary.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Soul Document. Yes. Yes. There's
It's
so much
yeah.
truth to it.
I
So
was
much truth to it.
probably crying for like a third of the movie. Just letting emotions
Oh,
flow. Because I mean, it's so there's so many relevant points when you're in that flow. When you're
yes.
in that flow, that is a sign of that, hey, this is probably a path that your soul's yearning to travel, right, towards. And it's such a beautiful way to articulate it, and for people can visualize it and feel it, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So people who haven't watched it yet, please go watch it. That
Yeah.
is the truth of your soul.
Yeah, no, that one's beautiful. That I mean, that one and also Inside Out, right? That gives you a
Yes,
really good visual of what's kind of going on internally in your heart body, right? In terms of
yes.
emotions that's kind of flowing through you. A question I have, what do you feel is a common block? What's a common block that your clients might have that doesn't allow them to access or just trust their intuition?
I mean, there's so many different angles to look at it, and only whoever is going through their life and have the kind of relationship that they have with themselves will fully understand what's truly blocking them. But from my observation, of what may be blocking people from fully and completely receiving and trusting their intuition could be number one, there's different levels. Number one, their intuitions are talking to them, but they don't know that's their intuition, if that makes sense.
It does.
So I'm going to give an example. When I first started theta healing, I was very intuitive, to my surprise, I thought, these intuition, psychic abilities are only for people who are gifted. But when I started going through the exercise, I was able to see, I was able to hear, I was able to feel. But my mom wasn't able to see and feel to the extent that I was able to. So she kind of compared herself with me and my aunt, who are both very, very intuitive. And she goes, oh my gosh, I can't see and I don't know things just like you guys. So I'm not intuitive. But the thing is, she is intuitive because she would tell me things that she go, oh, I don't know why. I was meditating. I just saw this person's name. I decided to call this person. And then that's exactly what I needed. And I'm just like, that's your intuition right there. Like you completely just discredit yourself. And so my observation is that what are people's expectations of how intuition is supposed to be like for them? People might go, oh, intuition, are you supposed to talk loud? Is it supposed to feel good? Is it, like, am I supposed to constantly feel it? Whenever you have a certain expectation of how your intuition is supposed to communicate with you, it's a lot easier to miss the communication that's coming to you and through you. And so that's one. And number two, I would say, because I honestly believe every single one of us on this planet Earth, we do follow our intuition on one level to like a certain level. We definitely follow it. Let's say as parents will know this. If there's something going on with your kids, you just know it. You just know it. You don't go there and go, oh my gosh, like, is that my intuition? Like, should I ask should I ask other people? You just know it. You don't need to question it. So that tells me if you're able to follow your intuition in other areas of your life, and there are certain areas of your life, like, oh, I don't know if this is my intuition, how do I trust it? That my question to you, is there any certain attachment that you have or are looking to experience in that area of your life that is blocking you from flowing with your intuition, flowing with your creativity? Because the attachment to certain things is what's preventing you from flowing with your own truth. That's my understanding of it.
I love that because your intuition, it's different for everyone. Everyone has it, but the way it signals, the way it communicates to you, it can be from hearing a different tone of an inner voice. It can be from some people see almost like a movie playing out or a silent movie, whatever it is, right? Some people just feel it in their body. Mm-hmm. Everyone's sensory is different and wired differently. Mm-hmm. But it's always subtle. And I think what I want to unpack on what you said before is, how do you distinguish, is this my ego talking or is this my intuition talking? And for me, ego, and I love what you said before, it's not a bad thing. You just got to be able to sit with it. But usually for ego, it's more emotionally charged. It's typically louder, yes. Right? Intuition it has more of an even keeled feeling. And I sense things, and then sometimes I'll hear things, and sometimes I feel it. But once you have an idea of, hey, this is my intuition saying, and that was right, rather than trying to focus on just the message, that attachment that you're saying, focus on how is this signaling? Because if you can really hone in on the signaling part of how your soul wants to communicate with you, is communicate you through your heart body, through your emotions. So that needs to flow. But, love to hear your thoughts. Like, how can one distinguish between ego and intuition? Or maybe, from your journey when you first started this off.
So first of all, I totally agree with everything you just shared, because if you're talking about voices that it's not serving me, I would feel in my body all these feeling of yuckiness, all these stress, all these should, all these judgments, all these feeling of not good enough or shame. When my intuition comes to me, is, at least for my experience, it feels blissful, it feels easy, it feels flowy, it feels like, oh yeah, I mean, there are times where my intuition is telling me, okay, quit your job, like quit your job. Oh, my logic would try to override it, like, no, no, but this and that, but this and that. How I know it's my intuition is, there are several different ways for me. Number one, those feelings will keep coming back to me. Quit your job, quit your job. And if I don't listen to it, it feels so wrong for me to not follow that guidance. In my body, I feel like, to answer the question, to really tone it down, is trust your body. Yeah, truly. I want to share this, a friend of mine. And I'm so sorry for not being able to give you just one answer, because I honestly feel like everybody's experience and their feeling and intuition that comes to them will be very, very different. And that's why the first thing that I invite people to do is to get to know your intuition. How does it talk to you? How do you receive it? How do you know when it's here? And start from somewhere that you know that's your intuition. For instance, if you're a parent, know that as parent, you know there's something going on with your kids. That's your intuition. And so I want to share this story from a friend of mine. I learned so much from her just by being with her. And I'm learning so much from her about honoring my own feeling. So she would share with me that her friend from San Diego would ask her to go visit her because she lives in Arizona. And her body just doesn't get a good feeling to go. She just intuitive, like, oh, I don't know why. It just doesn't feel good. And your logic may possibly go, oh, but it's your friend wants you to be there, maybe I should. And she did try to book the ticket, and then her body keeps telling her, no, no. So eventually she had to tell her, I am so sorry, I'm not sure why, but my body is really telling me no, not right now, at least. And that was around the time COVID was about to start.
Wow. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
And
called gut feeling for a reason.
yes, yes,
Right.
yes. So I can't give you the exact answer, because your ego might give you the same exact answer when your intuition is giving you the same feeling. It's that feeling of no, 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 no. Your ego might also go, no, 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 no. But which is which? You're gonna be the one who is going to understand yourself the most. And
Yeah.
it's your responsibility, your job, your opportunity to go,
Mm.
okay, I would like to have more intuition or be more in tune with it. It's almost like you're saying, I want to be friend with Ben, but I'm not gonna call him. I'm not gonna talk to him, and I'm not gonna even ask him question. I'm not gonna establish relationship with him. I'm just gonna expect Ben to come and talk to me. Right? That's exactly a lot of us do. Hey, intuition, come and talk.
Yeah.
Why aren't you talking to me? But are you listening?
Yeah, no, and the visual and the feeling I'm getting, Bridget, as I'm listening to you, this is also why throughout almost practically every episode I have, why I share the CAL method, right? The calm awareness and language method, is because we live in such a fast-paced life where the meaning of hustle and grit has taken sort of a new form of what it means to, survive and thrive in this world. And the visual I get is, if you're wanting to start activating your intuition, and your intuition, how I define it, is your soul GPS. It's a guidance system to help you signal. But if you're constantly driving and you haven't activated it and you want to hear and listen to it, well, one way to do it is, why don't you just pull over to the side, ask yourself the question, and
Mm,
see if a signal comes up? Because that's the thing where We're constantly going in morning. You got the morning rush, you got rush hour, you got to get the kids out the door, hurry up, finish your food, put on your shoes, right? And
Yeah.
and we're always on the go. And it's like, God, I know I have sometimes have these gut feelings that's right. I just don't know how to access it. But it's like, okay, I'll listen to it. Okay, what do you want to do? But if you're constantly driving and you don't take the time to just pull over and
Yes.
stop and just
Yes.
ask yourself a question. Hey, you have a decision coming up. I was coaching one of my clients, and he's trying to hire the right position. And it's like, well, why don't you take a different approach? It's like visualize who you and feel who would be the right person. Just hold two resumes in each hand and just ask yourself, what has a brighter light? What does it feel? Which feels just
Yes.
small exercises where you just pull over and ask, and then just see,
Yes.
does your body signal to you, or do you see
Yes.
light? Like, that's one easier way to bridge the gap of, okay, how does my soul GPS want to communicate with me without
Yes.
having to always be driving on a movement, because it's going to be harder to detect.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And when you say that, when you share that, what comes to me now is like, whoa, we are so used to this realm of hustle and grind, hustle and grind, hustle and grind. And my question now for everyone, including myself, is when we are just busy with hustle and grind, is that faster or is it actually sitting down, calm ourselves down and listen? And what if we pause and stop for a sec from the hustle and grind world and pause into our internal infinite divine wisdom world? Would it be possible that we receive answers, inspirations, ideas, connections, synchronicities that can give us possibly a shorter, I don't like to get called a shortcut, but what if, what if it can provide a shortcut compared to hustle and grind, hustle and grind, hustle and grind? I,
Yeah,
for me, I love to experience the more blissful, joyful way, but yeah.
I get it. No, I get it. I'm with you. I'm on the same wavelength on that for sure. And so Bridget, I think when we were first reconnected and we are thinking about topics for today's interview, one of the words that you came to you was this word of understanding.
Mhm.
And when you first said it, I resonated with that word. And so I love to understand what you mean by the word understanding. Like, what does that word mean to you, and how do you feel that word is kind of relevant in what people are going through today?
I want to share a story. I hope this story can, kind of a metaphor story, can help people understand what I'm trying to talk about. So imagine you have a beautiful afternoon, sunny day that you decide to go to the swimming pool and read a book and just enjoy, I don't know, your cocktail or like, a drink, a beverage. And then you decide you're going to just read a book and just relax until there's just like people in the pool like splash water on you. At first you're just like, oh my gosh, like why can't I just freaking enjoy my afternoon already? Oh, whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna let's concentrate, let's just read, let's forget about it. And then this person just keeps splashing. You're like, oh my gosh, seriously? Okay, I'm gonna get up and tell this person to stop. You get up and go, oh my gosh, this person is drowning. Okay, let me help this person. Then you have a complete different perspective, like, oh my gosh, I was blaming this person for splashing water on me, and I wasn't even aware this person is drowning, and now let me go help this person. I want to help this person out. So I'm going to stop the metaphor story right there. When I say understanding, means we all have those parts of us that is actually splashing water, drowning, needing somebody to help us, needing somebody to see us, to understand us. But a lot of time, our mind stays at the judgment. jump to the conclusion of, oh my God, these kids are annoying. These people are annoying. Why are they splashing water on me and not letting me enjoy my afternoon? So imagine understanding comes from understanding deep within you. There is a part of you that is needing your love, care, and attention. Whenever certain circumstances come up, for example, people may judge themselves for, oh, see, I'm sabotaging myself again. Oh, see, you're being lazy, Bridget. See, you're not doing anything. See, Bridget, you're not putting yourself out there. See, you're not doing this. You're not doing that. You should have done this more. You should have done that more. How come you blah, 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 blah. And we're constantly in the vicious cycle of judgment, blaming, shaming, judgment, blaming, shaming. But now, through this conversation, my invitation for anyone that's listening to this podcast right now is I want you to put your book down if you're at the swimming pool and look at the person who's in the pool that's drowning and say, no, I'm not trying to sabotage you. I'm not trying to be lazy. I'm just scared. And I'm not sure, maybe I'm scared of failure. Maybe I'm scared of success even. Maybe I'm scared that if I'm happy, then other people won't be happy. Because that's how my family brought me out. That's the experience that I was exposed to. And so this is what I mean by understanding. Do you understand your feelings? And again, some people may also judge themselves for judging themselves for having these negative thoughts. And I'm not asking you to be positive all the time. I'm not asking you to go, hey, I love you, blah, blah. Like, acknowledge all parts of you. I'm inviting you to be curious. I'm inviting you to start asking questions instead of believing every statement that you hear in yourself. When there's a statement like, oh, see, Bridget, you're just lazy. See, Bridget, you're just useless. See, Bridget, you're sabotaging yourself. Ask questions. I wonder where this came from. I wonder what this reminds me of. I wonder what am I actually feeling underneath this feeling of I'm just sabotaging myself. Oh, do I feel scared or am I angry?
It reminds me of that Walt Whitman quote, be curious, not judgmental. Right. That
Yeah.
was in the Ted Lasso episode in the dark game scene that I mentioned in an earlier episode. But yeah, no, I get it. When you're in the state of curiosity through the perspective of seeking to understand what it is you're going through, that's the process that you start to heal, not just on your past, but also understand, oh my God, I've been carrying this like 10,000-pound limiting belief in my trunk of my car all this time.
Yeah.
Maybe I just let that go. I'm just going to feel, freer. I'm going to go faster, right? And it's not as inhibited as it was before. That's what I got when I'm hearing your process. I love that metaphor because it's all about perspective. If you're just, it's one thing to be in your zone, but at the same time, without that awareness, then you might be missing certain cues, right?
Yes.
What's a common misconception about your healing and energy work?
Well, misconception, what came to me was, and I also have this, is a lot of people believe, oh, once you work on this issue, it's done, complete, done. I don't need to work on it anymore. But through the past decade of working on myself consistently, I'm learning more and more and more. Yes, that layer is done, and there's the next layer. And so for people who are like, for people who have gone through personal development, try to work on themselves and go, oh my gosh, I thought I worked on this. Why is this pattern still there? If it's still there, great. It's still telling you there's something deeper that it's giving you the opportunity to look at it on a deeper level, maybe a different perspective, maybe find the gifts or the lesson or the blessings within it. Or maybe is to let go of the emotions that you're still processing through it. I personally believe the misconception is like, oh, once I work on it, it's done. I personally believe this line of work is life's work. It's a continuous journey. There's not really a destination. It's literally an experience, a process, a journey of understanding yourself even more and more. And I love Disney, by the way. So I will always use like stories from Disney
Yeah,
movies.
yeah.
I absolutely love Frozen, where when Elsa couldn't hold in her power anymore. She was like, let's have a breakthrough, test the limits and breakthrough. And I don't need to be a good girl. And let me see what else can I do. And I feel like as you work through your stuff more and more and more, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm capable of this. Oh my gosh. Oh, I didn't even see that about myself. Oh, wow. This is where I can have more compassion of myself. It's a beautiful, fun, also sometimes not so easy journey, but it's definitely worth it.
So, Bridget, what is one or two action steps you can recommend our audience to help them start building up their intuition muscle?
Well, number one, I would say, like I mentioned earlier, get to know your intuition. Go to a quiet place where it's just you and yourself, and get your journal out or type it in the computer and then start asking questions. Start establishing a relationship with your intuition. Just like, let's say, I give the example, like I want to be friends with Ben, then you got to start asking questions, start developing that relationship, start asking your intuition, hey, how would I know when it's you talking to me? And remember the times that when your intuition was talking to you. Here's the thing, your intuition does talk to you and communicate with you, but a lot of time we don't give ourselves credit for it. And a lot of time we don't recognize that's our intuition speaking to us. So I would say, first, remember the times when you knew or recognize and realize, oh my gosh, that was my intuition talking to me. Write them down and go, oh my gosh, how did that feel? What was that experience like? Oh my gosh. And you will notice more and more. Oh my gosh, my intuition does talk to me. That's how my intuition talks to me. Oh yeah. And there's another time. Oh, this my intuition talks to me in my body feeling. Oh, that time that intuition talks to me through a message from other people. Or this time, whatever it is, you will start to discover your own pattern, your own way of receiving your intuition. That is one action step. And number two, I would suggest to have fun and play with your intuition. Maybe literally take a Sunday walk and just go on a hike and go, intuition. I set the intention, intuition today. I want to experience, I don't know, joy. I want to see, beautiful people. I want to see this type of flower, whatever it is. Set an intention and go, okay, and give me the feeling of, do I turn left here? Do I turn right there? Just have fun with it. Experience your beautiful relationship with your intuition and give yourself big credit for it. So I want to share a few stories that that I've experienced with my daughter. Kids, I believe, are the greatest teacher of intuition because they're so pure, they're so in the present, they don't have all these doubts or questions or chaos in their mind and go, is this my intuition? Is it not intuition? It just is to them. So so this one time I made eggs for my daughter Nyla and I gave it to her and she just looked at it and she's like not eating it. I'm like, why? Because she loves eggs. So I'm like, why isn't she eating it? I'm like, okay, whatever. And I took a bite and I'm like, oh my gosh, like good thing she didn't eat it because I accidentally put too much salt. I'm like, but how did she know? She didn't even eat it. So that's one time. Second time was the weather outside looks so gloomy. It looks like it's going to rain. It looks cold. And I was telling Nyla, I was like, Nyla, you need to wear long sleeve because it's cold outside. And she just would not wear long sleeve. She chose short sleeve. I'm like, okay, fine. You just wear short sleeve. I'll bring a jacket then. And then literally after 20, 30 minutes of being outside, it became so hot. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, how did she know? She just knew. Like now, as these experiences, that observation that I have with her and having this conversation with Ben today, that I'm starting to believe that I need to start recognize my daughter's intuition more and more by acknowledging it with her. Because here's the thing, a lot of people don't trust their intuition or don't know how to trust their intuition. It's not that they don't know how to trust it. It's just, it's almost like when we do follow our intuition as a kid, there's no family members or friends and go, oh my gosh, good job, Ben. Good job, Bridget, for following your intuition. I'm so proud of you. I celebrate this with you. No one's ever said that. Like, even when we do follow our intuition, we don't know that's called following our intuition. But what do we know? We know to follow logic because the world around us do that very, very, very well. And our parents, our teacher will go, good job for studying, good job for reading hard, good job for working hard, good job for going to a good college. Did anybody ever say, good job? Kudos to you for following your gut feeling, even if it doesn't make sense to other people. And so by doing these exercises, by realizing you are following your intuition in these ways, by having fun with it, by being playful with it, the next step is I want you to celebrate yourself with it. Go, good job, whatever your name is, and say, I'm so proud of you for recognizing that is you flowing with your intuition. I am so proud of you for making these decisions that is true to your heart, even though it doesn't logically make sense to you or other people. I am so proud of you for following your bliss and your joy. And I'm so proud of you being true to yourself, even if other people don't understand you. I'm proud of you. And thank you for doing that. Thank you for being you. And the more you're able to do that with yourself, the more your intuition is like, okay, thanks for listening. I'm going to give you more because you are ready and you're listening. And we have a better relationship now. We're bro now.
That's such a beautiful way of saying it. I'm feeling, I really felt that. And I think I appreciate you for sharing that, because I think that's a great way for people to build a intimate relationship with their intuition. See it as your best friend, as your partner, your life partner. Right? It's always there. It just depends on whether you want to listen to it or not and build that relationship with it.
Yes. It's true. So true.
Wow. So I got to ask you, Bridget, what is one thing you would tell yourself if there was a time machine that could take you back 10 years ago? What's one advice you would give your younger self?
I would go back to her and tell her, I love you and I'm very, very proud of you for making all the hard decisions that didn't make sense to you, but you went for it anyways. And I'm very, very, very proud of you for working through some of the biggest challenges. And even through doubts, I know you're gonna have doubts. And I want to say it's okay. It's all part of the process. I'm not gonna tell you what is right or wrong because every step of the way was necessary. Every choice you made was necessary to get me to where I am today. And I cannot be where I am today, the person that I am today, if it wasn't for you to make all the right or wrong, good or not so good decisions. It was because of everything that you did, everything that you went through got me to where I am today. So I want to say thank you. And I'm very, very proud of you.
I felt that, Bridget. I did. It's almost like I'm seeing when you heal your past, you're healing your present and your future.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just feeling. And such a beautiful message. It's such a beautiful message. I have to say this, like Bridget, knowing you and Jonathan, you're very gifted in what you do. You're very gifted in what you do. And I want to just ask too, is there something today, is there a question I didn't ask yet, tapping into your intuition, so to speak, is there a message that maybe we haven't covered yet that you feel would be really helpful for the audience to hear?
I think it's more of a reinforcement of what I've shared earlier. I just want to remind everyone listening again that there's even gifts within the judgments that you have for yourself. So instead of just kind of being stuck in the judgment that you have for yourself about the shoulds and shouldn't, need to and have to, I really would love for you to look at those native inner voices from a different perspective. Yes, negative inner voices may be telling you certain thing from this angle, and I invite you to go to a different angle. Okay, what is it trying to tell me? How is it serving me? What clue is it supposed to give me? And instead of being stuck in the negative emotional charge of like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough, I want you to look deeper of what part of you needs your love right now. What part of you needs your understanding right now? What part of you needs your support right now? Just like if a family member, your best friend, or your kids come to you and go, Daddy, I'm really, really scared. You won't just tell your kid and go, you know what, just suck it up and go do it. You will sit down and go, what's going on? I'm here. It's okay. And I invite you to do exactly the same thing for you. Those voices, those judgments, and just put it aside and go, I'm listening. What's going on? I'm right here with you. No matter what you feel, if you want to feel angry, it's okay. I'm right here. Are you scared? It's okay. I'm right here. I'm listening. I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here with you. You are not alone.
Yeah, I felt that. That's so beautiful, Bridget, because what I felt and what I'm hearing and seeing is give yourself permission, right? I mean, sometimes we're so caught up in serving others, or that example where you're on an airplane and you've got the oxygen mask, falling down. Our natural maybe tendency is to, okay, let me put this on my kid first. It's like, wait, put it on yourself first. You got to be able to. You don't want yourself to be a liability and be knocked out,
Yes.
right? In order to help
Yes.
others, you got to also put yourself as a priority. And in order to do that, you have to give yourself permission. And I think,
Yes.
and that's the message I hear and feel from what you
Yes.
shared is it's okay to give yourself permission, because once you do and allow that to feel, then that's one step closer to being able to move forward, right?
Yes. And thank you for saying the keyword permission, Ben, because one thing, yes, give yourself permission to feel and recognize those negative emotions, but also give yourself permission to listen to your highest, deepest, truest joy, your desires, because this is what I noticed about myself. I don't know about other people, but for me, for sure, sometimes I would not fully give myself permission to be bigger than I allow myself to. We all have these underlying unconscious, whoa, if I'm supposed to be humble, if you grew up in a family where being small is the norm, then being big may feel like you're breaking the rules.
Mm,
Give yourself the permission to break the rules. Give yourself permission to do what feels right for you. And I love that keyword, permission. Give yourself permission to do the things that you think you shouldn't be doing for yourself, but is the biggest joy that your inner child is asking for right now.
beautiful. Bridget, where can our listeners find you?
So our listener can definitely find us at thepowerfuluniversity.com.
And how do you spell that? I remember you have a unique spelling for that, right?
Yes, as the powerful will be THEPOWERFUL. University is spelled YOU University.com.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Great. And I will include your website in the show notes as well. So it'll be easy for our audience to find you. Bridget, thank you so much for joining us today. I was very excited to have you on the show after, reconnecting you, and I just love the light and the warmness that you bring, not just to your clients, but just your way of being. And I definitely felt that it shined here today. And so I really
Thank you.
appreciate you. So
Thank
thank you,
you,
Bridget.
Ben. And thank you for everyone who's listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy to be here and just share whatever is meant to be shared.
Did you enjoy today's interview with Bridget Wang? There's quite a few takeaways I got from Bridget. The first takeaway is, what if there's no good or bad about your higher self, your ego, or your intuition or inner voice? What if all of those things serve as an internal guidance? It does not necessarily mean that you need to mute your ego or inner voice. It might be sending you a message. Do you take the time to listen and speak to it, to try and understand it? The second takeaway is what Bridget shared of the most common misconception about energy work. It's the notion that once I work on it, it's done. The reality is that it's a life journey. It's a continual experience and a journey of understanding your true self. And the third takeaway is spend some time in a quiet place to learn how your intuition is communicating with you. Part of why people don't know how to trust their own intuition is because they do not give themselves the permission and space to quietly connect with themselves and understand how their intuition is signaling and communicating with you. It's different for everyone. Does your intuition communicate with you through body sensations? Do you see images or visions? Or do you hear distinct voices? Folks, I really hope you enjoyed today's interview as much as I have. If you feel this has added value to your life, please subscribe. Share this episode with someone you feel can benefit from hearing this, or leave a review. I am really excited for 2022 because I can't wait to unpack what I've got in store for you all. We're going to dive deeper into understanding how to truly strengthen our mind, body, and soul. From concepts I've shared with my clients to inviting entrepreneurs and thought leaders on this show that'll share their personal stories, wisdom, and insights. The phrase that come into mind in this year's chapter is clarity and confidence. Clarity and confidence. This is going to be a transformative year, you guys. So get ready to take this journey together. Until next time, folks, be kind to yourself, be in the light, be you. Thank you so much for tuning in to my Boom Vision podcast. If you'd like to find out more about me and this podcast, head over to benjaminyeh.com. That's spelled BenjaMinyeh.com. If you haven't already, click subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.